Good morning, everybody. I am waiting to see if this is actually happening. Well, it should be live right now. I feel live. I feel living. Hello, Alexis. Hello, everybody. This is awesome. We were just getting immense sets of errors. I don't think we're on Twitch right now. We should be on Periscope. I know we're on YouTube. This is the beauty of technology and an amazing story about stream keys. Hello, David Hool. I'm glad you're on YouTube. Welcome. Fantastic. Who else is here? Yep. See you there. See you there. See you there. That's all great. Hi, I'm Shelly Palmer, and welcome to the Strategy Hacker live stream. Gary Einstein, good afternoon from California. Brian, welcome. Please tell me where you are in the world. I'd love to know exactly where you are. I am live on Twitch. Okay, this is great news. Great news. Yeah, I do see. And LinkedIn is having problems again. Unbelievable. Hello, LinkedIn. Gosh, you guys at LinkedIn Live, you definitely have to get some of your tech happening. Okay, we're live everywhere, and I'm happy to be here. Welcome, everybody. It is a wonderful Wednesday afternoon here in New York. Hello, Dale from Silicon Valley. And, oh, Brian, you're in Princeton, New Jersey. Welcome, Michael Port. Glad that you popped up on YouTube. I'm glad that I'm there. You know, we had a few snow flurries here in New York today. It really is winter. There's no question about it. Really winter. Hello, Ira Wolf from Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. And hi, Mickey. How are you? Glad you're here from Southern California. Yeah, we had a little bit of snow flurries today. I haven't really looked out the window that much because, well, that's what the windows look like here. Basically, they're completely closed. Life is, we're windowless. Here in the Batcave, totally windowless. If you are just getting to join us right now, we are gonna talk about all kinds of stuff today. But as I wait for everyone to show up, good morning, David, and hey, Ken, how are you? 70 in Denver. I'm really happy to hear that. You can join us on YouTube Live. The chat works fantastic there. I see most of you are there. ShellyPalmer.com/live is a quick shortcut to get you there. So if you're listening on Facebook and you want to join the chat, or if you want to hang out with us at all, just join us at ShellyPalmer.com/live. Every one of you is probably a PGX member. That's our private social network. It's invitation only, but if you're here watching me right now, most likely you are someone we'd like to invite into the network. There is a link in the description, and you should click it and you will be immediately brought into pgx.tech. It's a wonderful, wonderful place filled with professionals who are talking about all kinds of interesting stuff every day, and I hope that you'll join us there. You can always email me at shellypalmer.com, shelly@shellypalmer.com. It's my personal email address. I really do actually answer those emails. I'd be very happy to hear from you. Of course, you can always DM me on Twitter at Shelly Palmer. Happy to have you do that as well. Let's see. Oh, we do online networking salons Monday through Thursday at 11:05 and 11:35. These are small, contained, wonderful water cooler conversations. You will meet some new people. You will bump into old friends, and you will learn a little and you will teach a little. It is really, really fun. And the conversations this morning were amazing, truly amazing. We had, hey there, Robert, how are you? Welcome from the Bronx Zoo. We had an amazing set of conversations this morning. And we talked about 5G. And we talked about healthcare, and we had just really, really good stuff. Hello, Donald Levine from Westbury. We're glad to have you here. Welcome. So you can join us, and there's a link in the description, shellypalmer.com/salons, and you will be able to sign up for whatever salons you like. Again, this chat is here for all of us. It's for you not only to talk to me, but to talk to each other. So please, everybody, not only will I answer your questions today, whatever they are, but feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I'm serious, kids all cheer when you do that. So make sure that you are talking amongst yourselves too, because we're going to cover some serious topics today, some good stuff in the news. Just moving on to the rest of the housekeeping while we collect everybody. At courses.shellypalmer.com, we have a whole bunch of free downloads and stuff. The P&G memo, the famous P&G memo is there. We've got a couple of infographics about making better business decisions. All that stuff is free at courses.shellypalmer.com. There's some paid stuff there too, but please go there and find some free downloads and some resources that will help you just be a better strategy hacker. Speaking of being a strategy hacker, Joey, who I know a lot of you know, he keeps the trains running on the tracks here at shellypalmer.com and at the Palmer Group, has put together a small store filled with holiday merchandise. We have the Strategy Hacker collection and we have the Zoom Fail collection, which is pretty funny. And they're just like gag gifts. And of course, you can proudly wear your Strategy Hacker t-shirts. And I hope you'll do that. So, will you get vaccinated? That is the main question for today. That's not I shouldn't say main, but the first question I really want to talk about today is, will you get vaccinated? And what does that actually mean? The vaccines were all in the news. Everybody was talking about vaccines day and night and day, and when they're going to be available. And I just, in the chat, if you'd be kind enough to just let me know, we have a poll, and the link is in the description. There's a link to a survey at shellypalmer.com where literally thousands of people have entered it. You'll get immediate results if you go there, just so you could see how people are feeling about the vaccination. But if you're interested in taking that poll, you can go there, or just right now in the chat, let me know if that's something that's interesting to you. Are you going to get vaccinated, and will you trust the vaccine? And yeah, that's the big question for the day. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like they are going to get the vaccine, and a lot of people think we're not going to get the vaccine. Again, if the chat is critical to me here, so if you are kind enough to, the only way I can interact with you is via chat. So if you'd be kind enough to enter, yeah, I see a lot of you are. Thank you so much I won't call you out by name. There's no point in doing so. But yes, thank you for voting. Looks like a resounding yes. I can't see a reason why people wouldn't necessarily get vaccinated, but there has been, I guess, a lot of our best institutions have been under attack of late. And some people say that this was rushed through. I don't know that it was rushed through. I think that the FDA is still a trustworthy organization, and certainly the commercial interests of Pfizer and Moderna, they are not looking to play fast and loose with people's lives. It's the business they're in. So I could see how that is less of a concern today. So I'm glad people are thinking about it in a positive way. So with that out of the way, and again, I'd appreciate it if you go to shellypalmer.com and take the poll. With that out of the way, the other big story today, from the sublime to the ridiculous, actually, because this is only important if you're in business, and by comparison to coronavirus, it's probably not important. But the big question that I would have today is about our friends at Apple, and they announced that they are going to remove their apps from the App Store that don't comply with what's known as ATT, the App Transparency Tracking guidelines that they've put together. And they're thinking about doing this in the first quarter of 2021. And what this is going to mean is that all third-party app developers, all the app developers, are going to have to get opt-in permission to track you. Say that again. They're going to need you to opt in. Now, right now, whenever you pick up an app, I don't care what app it is, it's tracking you. That's its job. It likes to track you. It wants to know your location. It wants to know proximity to certain things that it understands in order to give you a better advertising experience. The things you do on your device is as much as can be captured is captured. And then, unfortunately, for some app developers, there are restrictions for some, but for most there aren't any, or very light restrictions. And that data gets sold to third parties all the time and gets used all of the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And what I mean by that is, the worst thing that can happen to you generally is that you'll see a more relevant ad, because the more data that an advertiser has about you, the more likely they are to put an ad in front of you that you are going to interact with. TikTok, Facebook, and the data elite use the data they collect about you, and Google too, all of the data elite, even Netflix, all of them use data in ways that, unless you are in the business, you probably can't imagine and don't think that much about. But in practice, third-party app developers use that data too. And Apple is getting sick of it. Now, I'm not sure if this announcement is an on-brand announcement by Apple, because they've been about privacy pretty heavily since Tim Cook famously wouldn't turn over the cell phone of or wouldn't hack the cell phone of a terrorist on the West Coast a few years back. So Apple's been playing the privacy game pretty hard, and this is on brand for them. But if you're a third-party app developer and you sell advertising in your app and you can't get the data you need to put the right do the right ad in front of the right person, right place, right time, then what? Now, of course, Apple is only about 25% of all phone owners worldwide, except they're the real phone owners. It's like these are the people who have the most money, the most disposable income, and although it is a fashion accessory and it is aspirational, in practice, people who have iPhones are more moneyed than people who don't have iPhones. So this is an elite, self-selected group of amazing consumers, and Apple is basically turning that spigot off, because when you download an app after this takes effect, you'll be asked, do you want to opt in? Now, I don't know how they're going to word that. How will they word it? Hi, would you like to be tracked in our app? Because we want to, that's just, who in their right mind is going to say, yeah, track me. I'm stoked. Let's go. You guys are the best in the world. I can't wait for you to track all of my movements and then sell them to enrich yourselves so that my data becomes something that you get to profit from. Oh, and by the way, feel free to charge me $6.99 for this app. Not happening. Not ever happening. Never, never, never. Strategy Hacker is the name of the company. The shirts are cool. The mugs are cool, but mostly it's cool. The strategy. Well, so this is interesting. Strategy Hacker. Here, I'll put this up here. Strategy Hacker is not the name of the company. The company I have is called the Palmer Group, and you can learn about the Palmer Group at shellypalmer.com, which is my my website. So shellypalmer.com is the sort of place where all of the things about my life sort of intersect. But if you were to go to our store, now I'll put up a clean feed. If you go to our store, then the store there is, it's part of how can I say this? It's part of our merchandising experiment. We've got Strategy Hacker merch there, and we've got some Zoom fail merch there. And to be fair and frank, guys, it's not how we make a living. It really isn't. It's a grand experiment in having a good time with sort of merch the way the gamers do. And I'll tell you what, it's an amazing experiment, Tom Herman, and here's how it went. So I've been really closely studying how some of the young people on Twitch are amassing insane audiences. Some of them are just great video gamers and they practice there. The esports business is down a little bit this year and the big purses aren't as big as they were. COVID has hit that industry pretty heavily too. But some of the best video gamers in the world go on Twitch and they practice at scheduled times. And they have combos and there are kind of barkers. It's a really interesting ecosystem. There can be 200 and 300 and 400,000 people watching a gamer practice, a world-class gamer practice. And then there's a whole sort of world around that where people are chatting with the gamer, with people that are involved in what's going on. There are whole YouTube channels then dedicated to what they've seen on Twitch. It's akin to the way talk radio decided that there was a business in AM talk radio about sports, even when you weren't watching the game, which no one ever believed back in the day, that you could have an AM radio station or even any radio station where someone get on the radio and talk about sports and people would care. People want to watch games was the conventional wisdom. Well, in this case, you'd say you want to play a video game. No, I'll watch somebody great play a video game. No, I'll watch someone talk about someone who's playing a video game. Like, that's what's going on. So this fascinates me. And all of the gamers that are successful, all of the shows, all of these very interesting stacked shows where you've got the gamer who's got a big following and a destination channel of their own on Twitch TV. And then there are YouTube channels dedicated to talking about that this entire like world, all of them have some version of merch. So because after all, I'm not gaming, but I am trying to understand this world. We threw up we went to Printful, Printful, and there you can make anything. It's a little expensive because they're all one-offs and they're made to order. And then we're paying Shopify, I think $30 a month on their lowest tier to build a little Shopify store. So if you go to store.shellypalmer.com, what you're seeing is a Shopify store filled with Printful merchandise that Joey created out of logos for Strategy Hacker and for our Zoom Fail collection. Most of the stuff doesn't say Shelly Palmer on it because it's really just there for people to have fun with. It's an experiment in literally how to wire everything together, because in our consulting practice at the Palmer Group, we play with live ammo, meaning that I would never sit in a meeting with our consulting clients and talk to them about, oh, well, it's cool, the gamers have merch. It's like, how do they have merch? What's the margin? How did they do it? Where are the big gamers getting their merch and how are they setting it up? Where are the small gamers getting their merch? How are they setting that up? How are the alerts working? If anybody's listening now on YouTube live, and I can see many of you are, if you haven't subscribed, do me the honor, please, of hitting the subscribe button. I'd like a like also if you got it, but the subscribe button. And when you do that, there's going to be an automated sort of like, thank you for subscribing. All these little tools are tools that I've stolen, in quotes, from the gamers on Twitch and from other services where I've been watching very closely how these massive entertainment systems have been evolving. And you think about the immediate entertainment business in the context of a Warner Brothers, you think about it in the context of a television network, a Universal. And yeah, thank you for subscribing, Dwight. I appreciate it. That's fantastic. That's the little thing doing its thing, which is super fun. So yeah, when you look at entertainment in the context of the gamers or streamers who are full-time streaming, you realize that there's a growing business. There is a growing business called entertainment, and there's a dying business called entertainment. What have we got here? What have we got here? Thomas, put some QR codes in the Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely put some QR codes there for you. I think that's a really good idea. Thank you for suggesting that. We can get that happening. So anyway, looking at what's going on, like this little bug in the bottom that's with my social pop-ups. This is the kind of stuff that the kids do all the time. It's very effective. I'm fascinated by it. What I'm really fascinated by is the destination at a specific time, a scheduled time, which is not what you'd think for streaming, not what you'd think for a new form of entertainment, and then the hundreds of thousands of viewers. And this is not an anomaly. It doesn't happen once in a while. It happens daily. And there are just hundreds of thousands, millions of viewers who are exercising their kind of new way of doing life. Couch potatoes, beware. The world has changed. It has dramatically changed. And what have we got here, David Charmants? What have we said? Let's see what you've just written to me. That looks really fascinating. My son had 20 calories. Yeah. Super fun, right? Just super fun. So, I want to talk a little bit. About Warner Brothers today, and we can skip right to it. The thing about Warner Brothers they announced that they are going to put their entire 2021 slate on HBO Max. Mortal Kombat, Dune, In the Heights, Space Jam, The New Legacy, Suicide Squad, which was what's up on the screen right now. I love this. I love the idea of it. I think it's fantastic. I think everything about it is fantastic. Everything. There's only one little problem. They didn't bother, literally did not bother to ask the agents, the talent, or any of the profit participants. They just took the whole slate and they announced, Jason Kyler and John Stankey and crew just announced that the Warner Brothers theatrical release slate was going wholesale onto HBO Max. Now, for those of you who are not in the movie business, this is unprecedented in every way. It has been a fantasy of mine personally since the advent of VHS tapes that they do day and date release, meaning that it hits the theaters and it hits VHS, or hits the theaters and hits DVD, or hits the theater and hits a stream, which is what it's doing today. Today we're talking about streaming on the day and date of the theatrical release. It's fantastic. As a consumer, I can't think of anything more fun. I hate going to the movie theaters. This is me using myself as a focus group of one, and you should never do that. So don't do that for business. But as a consumer, I absolutely hate going to the movie theaters, especially in New York. They are dirty. They are noisy. People talk. No matter what they say on the screen, people text. Their phones are on the entire time. You kind of like, guys, come on, seriously? And even with the like special recliners where you're spending a little extra money and you got a reserved seat, even that, to be fair, isn't a wonderful experience. In fact, it's an awful experience in this city. And if you can't get the right seat, you're not like in my house, I have a couch. I can lay on the couch. Now a big TV. It's awesome. Just a big television set. And thank you, Samsung. I went to Best Buy and I bought myself the biggest Samsung that they had, and I put it in the living room, and my wife yelled at me. It's like, there's room for is there a room for a chair in our living room? No, there's just a TV set because, I went to Best Buy and I went crazy. There was little TV set, bigger TV set, monster TV set, and that's what we put in the living room. Samsung, all singing, all dancing, smart TV. I think it's 85 something inch. It's massive. It's 4K. It's awesome. And it wasn't that expensive considering, Best Buy was running the crazy sale. So it's like, okay, you're going to stream 4K to me on that set with that sound system in my living room versus I don't care what you charge me. Because if I take my wife and we buy some popcorn and you buy the 32-ounce ridiculous vat of soft drink, by the time you're in and out of the theater downstairs from my house, you're a solid, it's just the two of us, we're $50, $60 in. Bring the kids or the kids and their significant others, you'd be $125 to walk into a theater. Charge me anything. I'll sit in my house. I mean, that's just me personally. Again, and you should never use yourself as a focus group of one. I don't care what they charge. Some people will care what they charge. Not a lot of people go to the movies every year in theaters. I think the average is 1 or 2 theater experiences a year because it's become like a financial obligation that no one can meet. During COVID, it's been impossible. So what they're going to do in 2021, the 17 films they're bringing out, they are going to release them in the theaters and online same day, and they'll be on HBO Max. This all sounds fantastic as a consumer. I literally can't wait. Let's take the movie In the Heights for a moment. In the chat, if you know, write how many subscribers Netflix has worldwide. Just write it down right now. Just someone in chat, just put down the number, what we think the worldwide distribution of Netflix is. Anybody, come on, you can do it. I can see you guys are chatting, so chat about that. Give me a number. How many subs does Netflix have? There you go. 150 million, 170, 500 million is not 500 million, Brian. It's roughly 200. Is it 280, I think, worldwide is the number? Joey Lewandowski, check me. I'm pretty sure it's 280. I'm pretty sure that's the number. And so 200, 230, it's a number like that. Here's a quick fact for you. Lin-Manuel Miranda and John Chu, the director of In the Heights, turned down Netflix because they wanted to have their motion picture theatrically released theatrically. This is what they wanted. There's something about a big screen. There's something people are going to see it. There's a whole thing. Someone write in the chat how many subscribers HBO Max has. You can do it. I know you can. I'll wait. I think Steve S. was the winner for Netflix. I think Steve's told us that we had 200 million. Right? So how many do we have? There you go. Well, of course, Joey's going to get it right because, that's Joey's going to get it right. All right, Joey, we're giving it to you. It's this is the number from Joey. It's 12.6 million subscribers. That is the number of HBO Max subs right now. Think about that for a minute. So Lin-Manuel Miranda turns down Netflix at 200 million plus subs and the money that Reed was going to pay him. Now, In the Heights is the Broadway show that Lin-Manuel Miranda did before Hamilton. If you are a student of Broadway, you probably know that it was the birth of a new genre, as important a musical as Oklahoma. And for those of you who don't know the story of Oklahoma, I will digress for a moment and tell you the story of Oklahoma. Rodgers and Hammerstein get together and they take what was a revue business on Broadway and they decide they're going to tell a story with music. And Oscar Hammerstein, the very famous story about Oklahoma is they had not worked together as lyricist and composer. And Rodgers was a very famous composer. And the legend goes, and it's in a couple different biographies, and it's been told to me by a lot of different people. So although I wasn't there to hear it, I'm pretty sure this is right on. The first lyrics that Oscar Hammerstein brings to Richard Rodgers are, and I quote, "There's a bright golden haze on the meadow." Craziness. I mean, unbelievable. So Oklahoma changed Broadway forever. A musical story was told in the format of what we consider a modern musical. Fast forward to a few years ago, Lin-Manuel Miranda does In the Heights. All students of Broadway, shows that have made it to Broadway, not off Broadway, not experimental shows. Plenty of people had experimented with the genre of this sort of semi-hip-hop, sort of pop, kind of weird, rapped, its own genre of musical. That's In the Heights. Stunning. And if you had never been if you weren't like an aficionado of going to all kinds of musicals or a composer or someone who was deep in the business, when you got to Broadway and you saw In the Heights, your mind was blown. Just blown. It was, wow, this is a thing. That's this musical. Good experience or bad experience, most people will never go to Broadway. They just won't. They're not going to get to Broadway. More people will watch the evening news tonight on nightly news with the diminished ratings than probably have been to Broadway in the last 15 years. It's just not a lot of people get there. They just don't. They're making a musical of In the Heights. It's going to be epic. You've got Lin-Manuel Miranda himself doing it. It's supervised by the composer. This is his vision. You get John Chu, who did Crazy Rich Asians. Awesome. And these guys are promised by the world's best movie studio. And I want to say this again, the world's best movie studio, because Warner Brothers, prior to being purchased by the phone company, was without question the most talent-friendly, greatest place you could ever work creatively. There are other places you can work. There's Universal, there's Paramount, there's Disney. But if you've ever had the pleasure of creating something for Warner Brothers, then you know what I'm telling you is true. It was the most talent-friendly environment literally in the world. They respected what you did. They respected how you did it. For those of you who don't know, I started my career as a composer, producer. I've done an amazing amount of work for Warner Brothers. They represent my catalog right now, Warner Brothers Music. It's talent-friendly beyond talent-friendly. So it made all the sense in the world that Lin-Manuel Miranda decided that he was going to take his movie there, not to Netflix. Netflix is not known as the most talent-friendly in the world, but they are known to write gigantic checks. But sometimes there's more than money involved when you make something that you consider valuable, that's important to you, and you have your own vision for how you want to bring it out to the world. It's intangible, maybe it's ego, maybe it's your own whatever, but I really deeply understand why they wanted to go to Warner Brothers, and I deeply understand why they wanted a theatrical motion picture release. As a consumer, I hate going to the movie theater. I got finished telling you that. And I understand that a lot of people do, and streaming is awesome, and I gave you my total reasons for my big screen TV and all that. But I also understand the other side. These guys turned down 200 million plus subs and a check that Reed Hastings would have written them, like a check, to go to Warner's and have a theatrical release of In the Heights. Do you think they were a little surprised to find out that 12 million people are going to get to see it free of charge or included with their subscription to HBO Max? When I saw this, my consumer brain started doing a Snoopy dance. It's like, yeah, stay in date. Warner Brothers, going to get to see Dune, going to get to see The Matrix, going to say In the Heights, which I happen to love as a musical. And I'm not sure it's going to be a great movie or a terrible movie, but it's going to be a movie, and I can't wait to see it. I was stoked. And within a nanosecond, I thought to myself, okay, I know that Wonder Woman 1984, they wrote a massive set of checks to Gal Gadot and to all the profit participants because they were screwing them huge. The world had screwed them because of coronavirus. So they were screwing them huge, and they had, if you want to do a Wonder Woman, the sequel, whatever that sequel is going to be, you're going to have to pony up to keep that group together because you can't unprofit participate the profit participants and expect them to smile and come back another time. I'm telling you, they didn't do that with 17 movies. I'm telling you for a fact because my phone's been lighting up since this announcement. Text messages from all of my friends on the West Coast who are seething. Now, sadly, they're on the wrong side of history because I think Jason Kyler and I think John Stanky at the phone company, they are they're trying to go after Netflix. They don't really care. The question is, would Netflix have paid more? Would Disney Plus have paid more? Would Amazon Prime Video paid more? Did Warner Brothers take those movies out for negotiation? And the answer is they didn't. They didn't. So this is kind of a fascinating time in history, and it's going to be a really fascinating time as we move forward because the triangle of talent, everybody says there's, more talent out there and there's all this great stuff. It's like, have you guys noticed during our imprisonment during the pandemic how little content there actually is? I used up Netflix. I used up Disney Plus. I used up Apple TV. There's nothing on Netflix I want to watch that I haven't seen. There's some stuff that's probably 30 episodes or 50 episodes long that I just don't want to invest the time in. So I'm not going to say I've watched absolutely everything, but I've watched everything that I can reasonably get into. At film festivals all over the world every year with amazing motion pictures that win all kinds of awards. Where are they? People are able to make amazing bits of television with their iPhones now. Where is that? So the big studios make big content that gets our attention, and there are not that many people who can make a piece of content at the level we're talking about. To do what I'm doing right now, you press a button, you look into a camera, you talk, and some people show up, or they don't. But it's not millions of people, and they're not handing you $20 to do it. That's a different set of talents. That's a different set of techniques. And there aren't millions of people who can do it. There aren't thousands of people who can do it. There are hundreds. It's like being a major league hitter. It's like being a major league pitcher. I promise you, this is not a resource that is plentiful. It's not a commodity. It is a scarce resource, which was why Warner Brothers was such an amazing place. Was, past tense, because they've just demonstrated with absolute clarity that they are no longer Warner Brothers. They are now the phone company. And it is just heartbreaking. I think for consumers, it's going to be amazing. I think for talent in Hollywood, it's going to be unamazing. I think it is unamazing in the extreme. And it's a little sad, to be fair. I'm not pining for the days of old. You know, it's really funny when you talk about the system. When you're inside the system is awesome. When you're outside the system, it's terrible, right? I've sat in so many meetings where people would come to me with their ideas. Well, you know, what we need in the world is we need more songs like the Beatles. It's like, really? Thank you. and what are you talking about? We need more songs like the Beatles. Yeah. So if you happen to be one of the Beatles and you can write songs like that, there's no barrier to entry. People always talk about the barrier to entry. I don't know people. I don't have connections. Everybody's job at Warner Brothers in the old days was to find you if you could do anything of value for them, because they make a living corralling, caressing, loving talent, and then packaging and promoting and selling the work at a profit for everybody. Profit participants are going to be, I'm just going to say, ever so slightly pissed. I know they're pissed, actually. They're not ever so slightly pissed. They're super pissed. And yeah, that's sort of what's going on. Let's see. What else is on my little schedule of things to talk about? Oh, yeah, Uber is selling off its fly-in car business. Yeah, and it's selling off its self-driving car business to Aurora for $400 million. How many of you are familiar with the Uber Lyft business model? You can throw that in chat. And by the way, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to ask. I'm here, this hour is sort of like office hours every week. I'm playing with all my toys, so I've got all of my little buttons that I can press that I'm semi-showing off. But mostly I'm here to answer your questions. So if you've got questions, please ask them. How much did they invest in that $400 million asset they're selling? Oh, they're billions into it. They took that group. That's a great question. This is a very good question. So yeah, this is a really good question. Feel a lot worse than the movie business. Yeah. So yeah, how much did they invest in the $400 million asset they're selling? So that group started off, that was Uber's advanced technology group. And it started off with like 30 peeps, and it got to around 1,000 people. And I think they just realized how unprofitable it is. It's always going to be. And I think Dave Charmetz is right. I think they spent, close to $1 billion, $900 million. They've just been spending money like it's water, and they've done a fairly decent job of it. But they weren't making any money, and Uber isn't making any money. But there's a reason Uber's not making any money. It's a terrible business model. it's subsidized by VC funds. There's no version of the world where Uber runs a profitable business. They pay the drivers nothing. The drivers are really hurting. There's a story about flexibility there. People talk about that. But in practice, the driver's responsible for so much of the expense. Uber basically is an app. They're charging a massive chop. Their strategy was get there first, period. Where Facebook used to have a strategy called move fast and break things, Travis Kalanick had a strategy called screw everybody. I forget the law, forget local business rules, forget any of that. We're going. And they did. And they were constantly growing by just taking market, get there. The closest competitor is Lyft. And it's not a profitable model. And people were talking long and hard about Uber owning a fleet of cars. Forget the stuff going on with AB5 and Prop 22 in California, just owning a fleet of cars, and these cars would be self-driving. And the reason they wanted to own the cars, fascinatingly, is that it costs something around $2 a mile to put a driver behind the wheel of an Uber. And it costs something like 30 cents a mile to have the car drive itself. And that $1.70, that's a big $1.70. That's very profitable. It doesn't sleep. It needs a little maintenance. It still needs gas. It still needs insurance. But it doesn't need a human being at all. And so there is a lot of motivation. Now, the problem with that story is that if it's 30 cents a mile to put a self-driving Uber or Lyft on the road, someone's going to do it for 27 cents, and then someone's going to do it for 25 cents. It's going to be a race to the bottom, and how cheaply. And yeah, there'll be a luxury experience up here somewhere where someone's going to put Mercedes-Benz cars on the road, and there'll be another experience where they're putting, beaten up jalopies on the road and everything in the middle. But at the end of the day, there's a big difference between a meta service where you hire someone for a percentage of their wages or their fee. You charge them because they're performing the service, and you're charging them to hook them up with you owning the car. The model doesn't work. Those cars will need maintenance. They will need insurance. They will need love and care that there's no way in the world Uber does as a fleet owner. Who does that? Ford Motor Company, GM. They have dealerships all over America already. They know how to take care of cars already. Like that model works if you are the car company, and then Uber is just a software company. So could Uber license its software to Ford or GM? You know what? The software is open source. Is there AI open source? No. Is there a self-driving business? No. And I think they realized this. Certainly the air taxi thing was not going to happen for quite a while. So they sold it off, and now Uber says they will be profitable in their current model by the middle of 21, barring a few special accounting charges that they're going to have. I don't know if this is true or not. The model is a terrible model, and it's just a terrible model. And I'm not sure that, I'm really not sure that this is ever going to work out for them. Let's read some tweets here real quick just to see what you guys are saying. So Uber's financial disclosure, they call out the need to be autonomous or they may not ever be profitable. Yeah, I saw that, except that they're never going to be profitable. They did keep a 25% stake in Aurora, 26%. They also put $400 million of cash in there. So we'll see. We will have driverless cars in a decade or so. I don't know that we're going to have much before that, but maybe sooner. Hard to know. All right. The last thing I want to talk about today is my favorite thing that I want to talk about today. We didn't get to everything, but you guys have to have seen this yesterday. This just made me laugh. I was hooting and hollering over this. I really, really was. This just made me laugh. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. I looked at this thing and I was like, man, really? Seriously? Is this true? Is there a $549 set of headphones from Apple in anybody's future? $549. Did I mention these are $549? $549. How can this be? How can this be? I don't care if you go into space. I don't care. If it takes you to like there, wherever that is that person is, like if that's like the future of the universe, this person who's dreaming about the $549 they spent, like seriously, are you kidding me? What? The couch is in space. $549. Okay, let me talk to you about this for a second. First and foremost, and we have to be really clear. We have to be really clear about this. We have to be really clear about this. So, when you master a piece of music in the 21st century, and by master, I mean you take a finished piece of music from the composer and producer and you prepare it for distribution. So it is the very final mix. It's not really a mix. You're taking either a stereo track or a 5.1 track or an ambisonic track. You're taking the track and you are going to prepare it to go to Spotify or prepare it to go to Apple Music, or in very rare cases, prepare it to go to a CD or a DVD, which never happens at this point because the CD business is over. The dynamic range and the sonic quality that is possible at Spotify has a limit. There's an article at shellypalmer.com about HD audio. I beg you to go read it. It's a pretty detailed explanation, both in lay terms and in pure geek terms, about the limits of sonic quality on Spotify or Apple Music or any streaming service, about the quality of HD audio, what you can expect out of it, proper listening environments, and then what headphones can and cannot do for you. Now, sealed ear headphones are awesome in every way. There isn't a reason that a human being living on planet Earth who plans to listen to Apple Music or Spotify needs a pair of $549 headphones. You want to buy an awesome, insanely great, crystal clear, totally flat, monitor quality set of headphones? Go over to wherever you like to buy headphones and pick up a pair of these puppies. This is a Yamaha MPH MT8. This pair of headphones is modeled on the Studio Monitor NS10Ms, which was the way everybody mixed near field for 25 years. These little puppies, well, sorry, I've pixed and pixed myself. These little puppies, this is the deal. I have like 20 sets of these. They're everywhere. They're $200 a pop. You can't hear more audio than that set of headphones will actually supply to you. This set of headphones is going to give you what you need. It's $200. They're like $329 list. Amazon has them. I think that says $199. Yeah, $199. You're done. It's if you want sealed ear headphones or if you want noise canceling headphones, it's a different story. These are just sealed ear. They're not noise canceling. Noise canceling headphones come with their own set of silliness. It's a fashion accessory, and you get to brag that you spent more money than most human beings make in a week on a pair of headphones. I just, wow, do I not see this? And I I saw this thing and I lost my mind. I literally lost my mind. It's like, wait a minute, kiddies, AirPods Max. Really? This is what you guys are doing? AirPods Max? Just say no. There's a, you know, they get $1,200 for the phone. You say to yourself, okay, I got to have a phone, and that's what a phone costs. This, mother of God, just say no. It's no. It's not no. I can't say it another way. Just no. Let's take a few of your questions. I see that there are a whole bunch of them. Are these Yamaha ones all used? No, you'll get them. You get them new. They are, the MT8s are available. You just gotta find them. B&H Photo has them. Amazon has them. They're around the internet. What I like about that particular set of headphones, seriously, is that they're based. They are literally based on a pair of speakers called NS10Ms by Yamaha, which were near field monitors that everybody used for years, and some people still do. They don't make them anymore. The drivers are really hard to come by, and so I don't know if I can get wide enough in here. Inside my own studio here, let me just see if I can take the iPhone. So these are Genelec 1031As. And they are at ear height. Let me just see if I can put, this is where my ears are. So you can see my eyeglasses. These are at ear level, and they are set up specifically for me to near field monitor. And I don't mix in this room because this room is not treated appropriately sonically. You can mix here. It's near field monitoring, right? The monitors are right here. The equivalent of where they would be on a meter bridge if I had a recording console in front of me. They might be a foot farther back. But this is kind of a small room, and they're exactly where they're supposed to be. There were smaller speakers, bookshelf speakers, called Yamaha NS10Ms. They were, there's a lot of articles online about them. There were legendary stories about putting tissue paper over the tweeters to knock down some of the high end. It was all engineering geek silliness. We all participated in that ridiculousness back in the day. But these guys, and I don't make any money off of these, and I don't have an affiliate fee or anything, and I'm not telling you where to buy them. I'm just telling you that if you want an amazing set of headphones, and what I mean by amazing is they're not colored, meaning they don't add bass, they don't add treble, they don't add anything. What they do is they clearly, as flatly as possible, meaning all frequencies at equal sound pressure, as best they can, deliver that experience. And it's a pretty decent experience. I use it when I'm playing piano at night on my disc clavier in the living room, so I don't disturb anybody. Gives you a full range of the piano in a really nice way. I'm very used to that sound. A lot of engineers are, because that's what you finally mixed on. They're average speakers. And that's the point. The music you're hearing today is mixed for average consumption. No one is sitting there thinking you have $300,000 of audiophile gear in your house. Nobody is. I love the definition of an audiophile. It's the audiophiles use our music to listen to their equipment. That's not what these are. This is just the other way around. This is equipment you use to listen to people's music specifically. So if that's your job, and you want to do it in headphones, which I do not recommend. I mean, headphones are fun if you want to not disturb people. They're good when you're actually recording because you can keep a mix that you want in your ears and while you're playing for reference. But the best way to listen to music is in a room that's designed to do that. And the way you design that room is you create an equilateral triangle with a roughly 60-degree angle. At the base of the triangle are the two stereo speakers, and then your ears, and they're roughly at ear height. And this gives you, in stereo, a three-dimensional canvas to work with. And if you've got a good representation of the low, mid, and high frequencies, and you have good hearing still, then you're going to be in the best environment. If the room is rectangular, you're going to have a problem. If there are parallel walls, you're going to have a problem. The room needs to be acoustically treated so that the sound waves don't create standing waves, don't create constructive cancellation that amplifies certain frequencies because they're constructively amplified, and doesn't destructively diminish certain frequencies. You need to tune a room, and it's like that's the best way to do it. So audiophiles, some of those people do that. Others just buy really expensive gear, and you cannot solve the the acoustical problem with an electronic solution. You have to actually solve it, which is why near field works. I keep these speakers close enough where the rest of the room doesn't actually impact the way I hear the sound. But when sound comes out of the right speaker, I hear it in my left ear. When sound comes out of the left speaker, I hear it in my right ear too. So I have a spatial understanding. When you have headphones on, whatever goes to the right ear, you hear in the right ear. Whatever goes to the left ear, you hear in the left ear. It may be awesome, but it's not what the composer, producer, or engineer was hearing when they mixed it. So if you're looking for the sonic canvas that was created for you, headphones are not the way to get it done. Can't be. By just the physics don't work. So can it be great? Yeah, it can be great. Do I like headphones? Yeah, I like the ton of headphones laying on the couch. The music I like, Mrs. Palmer doesn't care for. So, I get to listen by myself. And listening for pleasure, do I like to juice up the bass sometimes or change the mid-range or change the high-end EQ? Of course I do. Everybody does. Personal preference in every kind of music you listen to differently. If you listen to house music or EDM, that was actually mixed with subwoofers in the room. There are no subwoofers in your headphones. There are no subwoofers in these Apple $549 headphones. You will never get the bass that you would expect, that bass that physically rocks your spine because it's resonating at the level of the liquid in your body. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen with headphones. But you can, with a little equalization, you can make your experience really good. Listen to classical, listen to jazz, you're listening to dance music. You can get a pretty decent approximation with headphones. Not a great approximation, a pretty decent approximation. So bass could be awesome, but it's not going to be it by the nature of what it is. Physics don't allow it to be past a point. Just physics. End of story. So yeah, for $549, it's all about the bass. We got about 3 minutes left in our Strategy Hacker live stream today. Sorry to rant about the headphones. They just really got me going. Again, you can read about HD audio and audio in general. Again, this is from a lot of experience. I have I've composed, produced, and mixed well over 5,000 pieces of commercial music. I'm not going to brag. You can go to shellypalmer.com, scroll all the way to the bottom because we don't brag about it that much. There's a little link to music production. You can listen to a sample reel there of the stuff that I've written in my life. You can hear that it's pretty well recorded and pretty well mastered. I've worked with some of the best engineers in the world over the last 45 years. And I can tell you from experience, $549 to listen to Spotify is on the border. No, it's beyond the border of insane. You're not going to be, you're not getting benefit. You're just spending money. Are the Bose any better? I'm not going to get into what headphones are better. One thing I will tell you to clarify this and just to put a button on it. You personally are the world's foremost expert in what you like, in the music you like, and the sonority you like, and the sonic quality that you enjoy the most. Not Shelly Palmer, not anybody else, nobody. You personally are the world's foremost expert in what it is that you enjoy. So don't let me sit here and tell you shouldn't drop $549 because you feel like you have better headphones and you're going to love it. Knock yourself out. If it sounds good to you, it sounds good to you. Next week, I'm going to tell you a story about stereo speakers when I was growing up in my dad's music store and a guy who came in to buy a pair of speakers. That experience changed my life, and it'll be a good conversation for all of us to have together. In the minute we have left, look, I want to thank everybody. Salons are 11:05 and 11:35, Monday through Thursday. We do this every week. If you liked what you heard today or you like what we're doing, please, please, please send me an email at shelly@shellypalmer.com. If you didn't like what was going on today, or there's something we can do better or we can do that would be more valuable to you, please, please let me know, because I'm doing this specifically so that I can help you be better at your jobs and help you be more prepared to answer the questions that you are likely to be asked during the day by your colleagues and your friends. So with that, I will say to you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate the hour that you spend with me. I truly, truly appreciate everything you guys have written in the chat, and the fact that you take time out of your day to come and hang out. So thank you. Be safe. The COVID thing is out of control now. You know it is. And so please, please be safe. And I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you next week right here on the Strategy Hacker live stream. For all of us at the Palmer Group, I'm Shelly Palmer. We'll see you next time.